So the way these lives are going to go is I'm going to start off with music from my mental musical. If you know me, I'm humming music all the time. Right now I've got the theme song to Get Smart, Mr. Sandman, and one other song I can't think of at the moment that just sort of go on rotation. They change frequently, so I'm going to share with you the Facebook Lives will always start with some form of music, and then I will share something fun because I want this to be engaging. I want this to be fun. I want you to see that you can have fun even as an entrepreneur. What is that? And then I'll go straight into the mini workshop, which will probably be like max 15 minutes, I'm thinking. And then I'll share something I've got going on. It could be a free resource. It could be a paid resource. It could be a class that's coming up. I don't know, whatever happens to be going on at the time. So let's go right into the music. Woohoo! All right. There we go. I love these doors. All right, so that's music for my mental musical. I love Get Smart. I have it on DVD, and my husband and I have been watching them recently. In fact, we recently watched the pilot, and what's really interesting about the pilot to Get Smart is, number one, it's the only episode they ever shot in black and white. Every other episode is in color. But what I think is even more remarkable is in most pilots, you do not get to see what eventually become iconic for a show. Not true with Get Smart. In the very first black and white episode, at least 3 things that became a running gag throughout the series are already there. When you first see Maxwell Smart, he gets a call on his shoe phone, goes into a closet to answer it, and then gets locked in the closet. So the shoe phone, right from the very first episode. And then there's the whole thing, the whole gag that there's this one other agent who's always showing up in things, like in closets, not even, he was in a painting in one episode, he was in a safe in another. I mean, he's just like in weird places. And then there's the verbal gag where Max Smart will start with some big number and then said, would you believe something smaller? How about something smaller? Something smaller? So it would be like, in one we watched recently, he goes, well, you're going to be foiled because there's going to be the entire, I don't know, Coast Guard's going to be here with all sorts of cannons to stop you. And the guy goes, ha ha ha. He goes, would you believe the Coast Guard, just the Coast Guard? How about 2 Indians on a canoe? A Boy Scout? So it's like this running gag where it starts really big and gets smaller and smaller. There in the very first episode. So that was really cool. And now on to something fun. My mug, which I hope, can you see? I don't know if you can see it in right side up. Oh, it looks like you can. It says, what I really need are minions. And my husband got this to me because I'm always dreaming about the day where I can hire a gardener and I can hire someone to clean my house, and in my business I can hire a VA and an audio editor and a video editor and all these things that right now I do it all myself, but I need minions. So here we go. Something fun, one of the mugs in my collection, this one about minions. So now let's go right into the mini workshop, okay? And today I'm going to talk about some tips for developing daily optimism. Now, I do have a little bit of a script here to kind of help me get along. I hope to be a little bit more smooth in future ones, but that's okay. I'd much rather make sure that I cover everything and so have it written down than to forget something, right? Something you really need to know about optimism is that it is a learned skill. It is something you can learn to do. It's something you can cultivate. And that's really good news, because if you find yourself not being so optimistic, you know you can turn things around, right? And optimism is really important because people who are optimistic tend to have better career prospects, and they live longer, happier lives, because being optimistic impacts your relationships. It impacts your physical well-being. It impacts your mental well-being. It impacts a lot of stuff in your life. So it behooves you to cultivate optimism. But I'm not just going to leave you hanging there and say, do this. I'm going to give you 5, count them, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how many fingers I have on a hand. Ways that you can cultivate optimism starting today. Sound good? Here we go. Tip number 1, identify as an optimist. This reminds me of a story I heard Lee Miltier say on a Nightingale Conant cassette tape I listened to sometime in the 80s. So it kind of dates me. But she told the story of a woman who was having some problems in her marriage. And she decided that the thing that her husband did that was really affecting their relationship negatively, she was going to encourage him to change, not so much by nagging him, which never works, nagging never works. Okay. What she decided to do was encourage him to be more of the man she married in the first place, because he had gotten into some bad habits. So when he would do this bad habit, she would say something to the effect of, "That's not like you." And then she'd turn it around to what he used to be. And over time, he'd catch himself doing this negative behavior that hurt him. This is not just about manipulation or anything. And he'd say, "That's not like me." And he would change it. So what I encourage you to do is, whenever you are finding yourself being pessimistic, stop and say, "That's not like me." And then turn it around. Be optimistic, because self-talk is so powerful. If you decide that you are an optimist, then you are an optimist. Even if you're a little more on the pessimistic side right now, you are now in the act of becoming more and more optimistic. So starting today, just say that's what you are. You are an optimist. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is accentuate the positives. And I chose this image of a dry, cracked desert with this beautiful little flowers coming out, because when you're pessimistic, you focus on the dry, cracked earth. But when you're optimistic, you focus on the flower. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to accentuate what is going right in your life. And believe me, something is going right in your life if it's nothing more than you have a really cool mug that talks about how you need millions, okay? It's the roof of your head. It's right now I'm in Long Beach, California, and the sun is shining. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day. And here I am doing Facebook Live in my anyway. It's a beautiful day, and that's something to be grateful for. So what I recommend doing is get a journal, and it can be a composition notebook. That's what I tend to use. And every day, write at least 3, preferably more, things that you are grateful for. And they can be big and they can be small. You can be thankful that you have good food, you have clean water, you have a roof over your head, you're able to watch this live stream. Woohoo! Isn't that exciting? So that's tip number 2. Let's go on to tip number 3, which is stop comparing yourself to others. I chose the image of apples and oranges because when you compare yourself to others, it's like comparing yourself, it's like comparing apples and oranges, because you are you. You are unique. Your experience is unique. Your level of expertise is unique. Everything about you is unique. And when you compare yourself to others, you are more than likely going to see yourself as less than they are. And that is absolutely not true. Okay? Not true. Not true. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Nothing good comes of comparing yourself to others. Because honestly, there's always going to be someone who's richer, someone who's thinner, someone who's smarter, someone who does that better. But the thing is, you're probably smarter than someone, and maybe you're thinner than someone, and there's something about your life that is really, really going well. And when you compare yourself to others, don't use that as a tool to beat yourself up. What you want to do is you look at someone having success and you go, wow, isn't that awesome? If that person can do it, so can I, right? So like, here I am doing this Facebook Live, and it's doing all sorts of craziness that I don't understand why it's going wrong, but it's going right. And you just move forward. And of course, there are people who have been doing these Facebook Lives and been doing them on Zoom, and they're doing it way better than I'm doing it right now, but that's because they have more experience than I do, right? That doesn't mean I can't do it, just means I need to learn. So here's another magic word for that. When you find yourself saying, oh, well, that person do it and I can't do it, add yet. I can't do it yet, because that opens up the possibility that you will be able to do it, right? So stop comparing. If they can do it, you can too. Let's move on to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is shift your focus. People who are optimistic look forward, not back. Crap happened then. That doesn't mean it affects what's going to happen next. The past is not an indication of what's going to come in the future. So when you want to develop a more optimistic outlook, you want to be looking forward to things, knowing that things can and will change. Optimists don't spend time dwelling on the not so good in their lives. They dwell on what's good. They dwell on the possibilities. They dwell on what will happen if things aren't going so good right now. It's all about not only focusing on what's going right now, but focusing on what you want to go right in the future, because that's what you're moving toward, right? You're moving toward a better life, a better business, a better job, a better career, a better whatever it is that you're looking for. So shift your focus from the bleh in your life, because there's going to be bleh. And the thing is, bleh ebbs and flows. Some days are yay, and some days are but that this too shall pass. Bleh doesn't stay forever. Unfortunately, neither does yay, but that's okay, because whenever there's a bleh, there's a yay coming up, right? So just shift your focus and always keep your eye on what you want in your life. So that's tip number 4. And let's move on to the final tip, and that is, don't get hung up on the outcome. What that means is you may decide, I want X. And if things don't turn out exactly like X, you're like, oh, I'm a failure. But the thing is, you probably got mostly X. You got something really closely approximating X. You got certainly closer to X than you were before. So don't get hung up on those outcomes. You want to focus on being flexible, be open-minded, because if you put all your eggs in one basket, if you are focused on a very tightly specific outcome, the likelihood is that you will get disappointed. So if you want to avoid being disappointed, be open-minded, be flexible, because it's kind of like you hear the things like when you pray to God and ask for something, he's going to have 3 answers. Yes. Well, actually 2 answers. Yes, or I've got something better, which sounds an awful lot like a no in the moment, but it always ends up being better, right? So if you are focused, if you are hung up on a specific outcome, you're going to get disappointed, and you're going to have a really hard time picking yourself back up once it's wrong. And that's why I use the image of the fish on a mobile. Number 1, because it was cute. But number 2 is like, if you are fixed on your outcomes, you're like one of those fish. You're just going to go around in circles, and you're never going to get anywhere, because you're not going to be able to expand and get out of the possibility, out into the possibilities. Because if one thing doesn't work, that doesn't mean nothing will work. It means that thing didn't work. Right? Are you with me? So don't get hung up on the outcome. So again, let's go over the tips. Identify as an optimist. You are an optimist. Accentuate the positive. Focus on what's going right in your life. Stop comparing yourself to others. You are you, and you are awesome, all right? And shift your focus to always be looking at the possibilities, always be looking at what's going right in your life, and don't get hung up on a specific outcome. Despite what you think, optimism and pessimism are not fixed, hardwired things. Yes, some people are more likely to be optimistic, more likely to be pessimistic. We have inclinations, but we're also humans with free will, which means we can choose to learn to be something different. We can choose to be optimistic if we want to. And I'm hoping that these five tips will help you get there. So that was the point of this mini workshop. We're done with the mini workshop, and we're going back to the next thing on the live, which is what I got going on today. What kind of offer do I have? Like I said, sometimes it'll be free. Today, we're going to go over to this moving sale I got. So when you go to karmaspence.com/moving-sale, I'll put the link in the comments below. You can go to this page and learn about how I'm moving to New York. So what I'm trying to do is get rid of stuff I don't want to take with me because I have a few months to plan for this move. So what I'm offering as a 3-pack here at like 56% off is, number one, an autographed copy of my book, 57 Secrets for Branding Yourself Online. This book is now out of print, so it's really hard to get it in paperback, but I have a few copies and I'm including it in this bundle, and I will autograph it for you. It gives you 57 tips for branding yourself online, including social media and other ways that you can use your online footprint to brand yourself and promote yourself and your business. And it's good for business owners, and it's good for people who have a job, because personal branding is really important if you want a better job. The next item in the bundle is this book, which is an international bestseller. It's a collection of essays from various women sharing things that they've learned, lessons that they've learned to help be better. My particular essay is on unleashing my voice. My hope is that once you read it, you will be inspired to not let people silence you, okay? It's inspirational, and yes, I am in the book. You will get a copy of this, and I will autograph my chapter. So that's the, and then finally, I have a few copies of this book I got from a friend of mine, Wendy Y. Bailey. This is an excellent book for business owners. Tells you some awesome stuff about how to be more powerful in having a profitable business. So again, this, yes, you can get it. This is out of a print, but when it was available, it was $15. This is currently in print. You can get it on Amazon for about $19. And this is only available in Kindle. But when she was selling it in paperback, it was $19. So this is actually a total value of $52.90, and you're going to get it for $23. And if you add in postage, it will come to probably under 40. It depends on if you choose media mail or priority mail. So go to that page. Again, I will put in a link. And of course, if you've got someone on your list who could be a better communicator, and that can be a high school student, a college student, someone who's looking to improve their job prospects, someone who wants to use speaking in their business, this is a very readable and comprehensive book, Public Speaking Superpowers. It's won 3 awards. It was a Kindle bestseller. And although this is a paperback, the copies I'm selling are hardcover. And I will autograph it for you. So that's what I've going on there. If you have questions about the mini workshop or the sale or whatever, if you have comments, please put them in the comment below. Over the next 48 hours, I'll be monitoring the comments and questions, and I will be answering your questions. This will kind of give you a feel for what the Facebook Lives are going to be like next year. I hope to start them like the second Saturday in January. Again, they'll always start off with some music, some fun. We'll go into a mini workshop. I'll make some sort of offer of something either free or paid. Today just happened to be paid. And then I'll open it up for questions, and hopefully I'll be able to figure out how to, how to see them and answer them. So I am so grateful that you're here. Give me a shout out. Share this video with your posse, and I look forward to seeing you in the new year. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the year. Merry Christmas, Merry whatever holiday you happen to be celebrating, and Happy New Year. Ciao. Okay, is it live? Is it live? Are we live? Is it actually going to be live now? Let's see. All righty. It's saying it's live. It's saying it's live. Is it live? It looks like it is. Okay, I think it's working now. Well, let's try this again. That was distracting. All right, so like I said, like I said in the last one, it's a test run. We're test running it again because I literally gave you the entire mini workshop. It went into the whole thing, and it turned out it was like totally not even recording or live or anything. So this time I'm recording it in the cloud. It looks like it's live, so I'm just gonna go for it. So let's start all over again. No, don't cancel. All right.